it's Jen with Astro T Astrology. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about making predictions with transits. Transits is one of the easiest way to make predictions, kind of like a first type of learning how to do things and learning how to kind of see how things are moving along. And I'm just going to explain the few things that you need to know and getting used to looking at a chart and knowing when you're looking at the transits what's the speed is and how fast this should be affecting you and how it might affect you at all. So a transit pretty much is, so you have your natal chart here and you'll see when you look at your natal chart all your planets scattered around. So a transit is when a planet is moving along the outside and comes into, starts coming into contact, comes into contact, and then moves past. Now, today we're mainly going to be focused on transiting conjunctions and oppositions. We're not going to get into squares, trines, and that type of thing today. 'Cause that's going to be a really long video, so we'll get into that a different time. I apologize for my cats. They just ate and now they're wild, so probably going to see them in the background and hear them. So anyway, so first we want to talk about the things that the transits are going to affect. So like I said, they're going to affect the planets that we have in the chart. They're going to affect our, especially like the sun and the moon are biggies. When they hit that, when they cross that, that's going to be, something we're going to notice in our life. So next we have our angles. Now the angles are the MC, the AC, the IC, and the DC. So the AC and the AC and the DC. So right here is the first house. Your ascendant or AC will always be in the first house. And so it depends on what house system you use. So if you're like me, I use whole house division. So that means say the Aries, for instance, if Aries is in the first house, it's going to start at 0, end at 30. Each division is 30 degrees. So, and then you'll have 30 degrees here, so 360 all the way around, and so on. So if you do oppositions, it's going to be 180 degree, conjunctions 0 degree, squares would be 90 degree, trines 120, and sextiles would be 60. So that's 2. And then you have the not as used. I'm talking about the Ptolemaic aspects right now. We're not going to get into the other aspects. There's just a lot, but we're probably just going to stick, like I said, to oppositions and conjunctions. So first we're going to talk about the angles. So like I said, depending on the way that you the house division system you use, the AC and the DC are always going to be in the first and 7th houses. Now, depending on what you use for, so if you use Placidus, if you use equal house, that house is going to start, the AC is going to be where it starts. And then that's the degree that house is going to start at. And it's not, so your AC is not going to be in the middle down here like when you use whole houses. I use whole houses, so I'm going to mainly be working with that one today. So, and another thing with whole houses, your MC is the highest part in your chart. It usually ends up in your 10th house, but it can also be in your 11th house or 9th house. For me, it's in my 11th. Same with the DC, that's the lowest part of your chart. The IC is the lowest part of your chart, and that can vary as well. They're always polarity to each other. So the MC, IC, AC, DC. So they're always opposite. like polarities. If you don't know what the polarities are, check my video on polarities that I did a few videos ago. So the AC is how you come into this world. It's what you are at birth almost. It's where the sun was, or where it was what was rising above the horizon when you were born. So if it was Aries, that's what you were at the very moment. If it was, Taurus, you're a Taurus ascendant, and so on. So if you're an Aries, your DC would be Libra. Now, the DC is more about how we perceive the world, not how the world perceives us, which is the AC. What we might not want to see in ourselves, but what we want to find in somebody else, what we want to find in our partner, something like that. The MC is the highest point in the chart. It kind of represents our maturity, our outward expression, our reputation, and how you interact with society and your part in society and what kind of role you'll play within society. Then the IC down here, that is more of your private life, the way you were raised, your upbringing, your habits, your roots, your parents. MC, IC are also have to do with parents and, mother and father. So, and then, so when a transiting planet hits one of those, that is also going to be a major occurrence. You'll feel that one. If it's just, something hitting your, Jupiter, it might not be as big as when it hits either one of the angles or your sun or moon. So that's kind of what you want to look for. So if you have, say, Pluto going through your first house, and then when it hits your ascendant, you're going to feel that. So we're going to talk a little bit about what a transit is. So a transiting planet and how you feel it. So when it comes through, it's kind of like a car passing by. And say you're walking down the street and there's a big puddle. So depending on the type of vehicle it is going to depend on pretty much the splash you're going to get and the, lasting effects it's going to leave with you. So say it's the moon, for instance. So the moon transits are always pretty quick. And I can't find my moon in my, there it is. So when a moon's going past, so the moon, it takes about 2.5 to 3 days to go through each sign. Takes a month to go through the whole chart. So it's pretty quick. As it's hitting things, it's hitting them quick. So you might wake up in the morning, say your moon is hitting your, we'll say Saturn. You might be feeling a little like moody. Maybe you don't want, kind of work related. You're kind of, in a funk a little bit, kind of feeling a little bit out of it, a little bit, segregated from everybody. By the end of the day, it could be hitting your Jupiter and you're like, let's go out and have some drinks, woohoo, So the moon moves by pretty quick. So, that's going to be coming and going feeling. The sun, it takes a month to move. So it's about 1 degree a day, or it takes a month to go through a sign. Duh. It takes a year to go through the whole zodiac. So it'll, be going through here for 30 days about. Mercury is about 25 days or so. It's depending on if it goes retrograde, and if it stops, goes retrograde, stations, and then starts moving retrograde, you're going to feel that because it's going to go over the same point a couple times. So you're going to feel that a little bit more. Venus is about a month in a sign. Again, retrogrades, but Mercury's the one that goes retrograde, and that's the biggie. Mars is about 2 months per sign. So if you have something going, if it's going through one of your signs, you're gonna feel it for a couple months coming on. So let's take our car scenario for instance. So if it's a Mercury transit, well, we'll just go to all the transits. So you're standing there and say a motorcycle comes by. You're going to get a little splash, but it's going to go by pretty quick and it's going to be there and over. So you're going to hear it coming so here it comes. So I'll say Mercury's coming. Here it comes. Let's say we have your moon here and Mercury. So you start hearing it. You hear it, it gets louder, it gets louder, it gets louder, it gets louder. Here's where you feel the splash. Here's where, it's conjunct. That's when it hits your planet and it's conjunct. And then it's going to keep on going. It gets quieter and quieter, but you still have the effects from it. You got a good splash, you're going to be wet. So if it is, say, Jupiter going by, we'll say all the personal planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, they're going to be like motorcycles or cars. Then we get into like the social planets, Saturn and Jupiter, and they're more going to be like a pickup truck or something big, that's going to be clashing and clamoring, and that's going to be coming along. And then you're going to hear that, what is that? And then when it hits you, you're okay. And then you're going to feel the after effects. So a lot of, especially, Saturn, for instance, it's maturing. It's, okay, I need to focus. I need to, get myself on track and to stop all the bull and get down to business. If it's Jupiter passing by, for instance, maybe something's going to blow up. Something's going to get bigger in my life. If it's an opposition, maybe it's going to be something difficult. If it's an opposition, it's going to be going by over here. So we have our moon here. It's going to be going by here. So maybe something's going to affect our mood in a big way. Maybe someone's going to really, maybe hurt us or something. When you're thinking moon, you think, your moods. So if you see something like that coming, you can prepare yourself, I might want to be careful here. I might want to not make such a big deal out of, maybe gossip I overhear at work or something like that, and that you just don't want to focus on just that. And then say you have the outer planets, which is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now those are going to be like the big dump trucks coming by. They're slow, they're loud, they make a lot of noise, they smell. You're going to hear that and feel that coming from a while away, and it's going to take a long time to pass. So those transits aren't going to happen overnight. It's not going to be something you're going to feel overnight. It's going to be something that is going to be slow moving. So continuing on, so we were at Mars, which is about a 2-month cycle per 2 months in a sign, depending again on retrograde, because we just had Mars in Gemini for about 7 months, and so that happens. Jupiter's about a year per sign, so if it's going through, say, your 3rd house, for instance, and it starts entering, you can expect like a lot of communication going on. So maybe you're going to be doing a lot of online communicating. Maybe you're going to be doing a lot of that with work, a lot of phone communicating, things like that. Maybe something's going to happen with one of your siblings. Maybe you're going to intensify that relationship with that sibling, especially if like Jupiter's going through. So it's going to take a couple years so you can know what to expect. And when it starts getting to that degree, you're going to know, okay, so if I'm, at about 15 degrees, it's going to take about 6 months for it to catch up to me. And then I'm going to be feeling that for the next 6 months thereafter, and so on. Saturn is about 2.5 years per sign, so you can expect anything within that sign to kind of mature, to ferment almost, take a little time there. Uranus is about 7 years, a 7-year itch. Uranus is about quick changes. So if you got, Uranus going through your 7th house, all of a sudden it changes houses and bang, you want to change. Like, kind of think of that where the 7-year itch comes from. Because Uranus is so unpredictable and changeable. It's like, I want to change right now. Then we have Neptune is about 14 years per sign. Pluto is about, it can vary, goes retrograde tons, it dips in, it dips back, it goes back and forth. But I'd say about, 20 years. It's about a generation. And then we have the nodes, Chiron, and so on and so forth. We won't get into those because we're going to do, coming up with eclipse season, we're going to go into the nodes a lot more. So back to, where we're talking about with the, so something going through your planets. So let's say you, one thing I've been looking at, my son's getting married. And of course, me, just being his mom, I'm always asking, oh, when's grandkids, or how is sure? So, of course, I had to do a little birthday reading or solar return kind of write up for his wife-to-be. And so I noticed some things that were interesting about like fertility and whatnot. So say you have, if you're thinking about having a baby or something like that, when's the best time to do it? So your 5th house is about, that's 6. 5th house here, that is about your children. It's creativity. So you create children. It's about dating and fun and that kind of things. I don't know how children fits in with the whole dating and fun, but okay, to each their own. So one thing that's always a great signifier is when Jupiter starts going through your 5th house. But if you have something like, say, Saturn in your 5th house, or if you have Saturn passing through your 5th house, that probably is not going to be the best time to think about getting pregnant, because Saturn is endings. It's kind of a barren. When you think about Saturn, it's cold. It's cold and dry, kind of barren. Jupiter would be a lot more of what you'd be looking for in that aspect. Also, if it's going on the opposition, so the conjunction would be if it's coming through and you have something in there. Say you have your moon. So if you have your moon in your 5th house and you have Jupiter going through, it's going to be hard not to get pregnant because that's just going to be two things just colliding and just family in general. So, what you want to look for is what degree your planet's angles or luminaries are in. And when that planet starts coming through, when is it going to hit? Now, it's easy to kind of, look at it at a glance. And like I said, you kind of go by, the times that I gave. That gives you kind of an idea of how long it's going to take to catch up. Another way to do it is to go on to your software, which is a great one, is astro.com. Of course, it's a free software online. You can change dates and put in the transits. So when you put in your chart and then you hit with transits, it's going to show you where the transits are for the time that you did it, the actual time it is right then. Then you can actually go in and change the date to later dates and kind of, get an idea of how fast the planets are going to be moving at that time. Sometimes they move a little faster, sometimes they move a little slower. When they're moving faster, it's going to be something that might not resonate as much. It might be a quicker happening, might not be as intense. When they're moving slower, it might be a little more intense. That's why when the outer planets are making their transit, it's always a little more intense of a change. Especially like Pluto, it takes so long. So it's really like almost you're becoming like whatever that is. It's the caterpillar to a butterfly effect. It's going to be a big transformation, one that you're not going to be able to go back from. And a lot of times it's going to be for the better because you learn and grow from it, and in Pluto is about getting rid of the old. So now, especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius, we're going to see what part of our lives that's going to affect. So for me, I am a Capricorn rising. So Aquarius is in my second house. So my second house is of money, the money I make, and of my things, what I have, my material. So it could have something to do with maybe I'm going to, depending on what I have in that, I could have like a malefic planet, like say Saturn, for instance. Is something going to be taken away from me? Am I going to have to work harder? Is my money going to come to me easier? It's just something that you're going to kind of feel over that time, and you're going to be able to work with it and see how that's going to plan out, or how it's going to work out for you. If things are passing through your, you want to have, you're single, you want to have a significant other. When you have Venus either passing through your 5th house of dating or your 7th house, so 5th house of dating, maybe you're going to find that somebody to start dating. If it starts passing through your 7th house of marriage, maybe someone's going to propose. Maybe that dating that you had about 2 years ago, or about 2 months ago, I'm sorry, is going to, become more serious. So it's kind of like a little transition there. So as that kind of puts its way through, oh, okay, here's my cat. Say hi, Bean. Hi. So as that starts going through, and it depends on what it's going to be hitting. So if you have, say, for instance, so I know my daughter has a stellium of planets, which is more than 3 planets in her 7th house of Capricorn. So she's got Uranus, Neptune, not Jupiter, but Mercury and Venus, all in her 7th house. So you have Venus start going through here. Okay, Venus comes in conjunction with Venus. Ooh, that's great. My relationship is working out so great. It starts hitting Mercury. Oh, we're having such good conversation. We're really communicating nicely. We're getting along well. All of a sudden, it hit Uranus. We've been fighting. He just left. He walked out. I don't know what to do. And then it starts hitting Neptune, and I found somebody else and he's the dreamiest, he's so great, or this one comes back and everything's going to be well again in the world. So it's not always, going to be a little foggy. You're going to kind of be looking at with rose-colored glasses when it hits Neptune. So, and then, as it goes along, you might have a little bit of, you're having some kind of marital stagnation. Maybe Venus putting through your 8th house is gonna kind of boost that little, the old feelings again, and maybe you're gonna get, and even say Mars. Mars can be a good planet, can be a bad planet. It can boost your, sexuality, but it also can cause something bad to happen, and it could cause you to, overact, or, Mars in the 8th house. The 8th house, they say, is about death and rebirth. So maybe you could make a rash decision that you can't go back from. So, and again, if you have something positive in here, that Mars, I would expect when Mars hits that, if you're married, you're going to have a really fun night and you're going to be reliving some of those dating days. So it really just depends on what you're hitting, what the planets are hitting when they're crossing through. So I hope you learned a little bit today, and I hope that if you want to learn a little bit more, I can help you through it. So if you would like to contact me for a reading, I would love that. You can contact me at astrotastrology@gmail.com. You can go on my website, astrotastrology.net, and request a booking. And if you like this video, you want to see one about kind of more aspects and whatnot bringing into it instead of just the conjunctions and oppositions, then hit subscribe. You're going to be subscribed to my channel, and if you hit the little bell, then you're going to get notifications of all my new videos coming up. And if you like this video, please like it, and please leave a comment. Tell about an interesting transit that might have went through your life, something that might have been a big change. Lots of planets changing signs this month and coming up, so there's going to be a lot of changes that you're going to feel. You might not know how to deal with these changes. I can help you through that, so please contact me again, astrotastrology@gmail.com, and I'd love to do a reading for you. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.